Pueden escuchar y dice the room is muted on Zoom. Can't hear anything.
Can they hear us now?
No?
We can hear you now.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
you.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm starting again. So yes, this meeting is going to be in English. So if you need translation, please just select the globe and interpretation and select Spanish. This meeting is also available in Spanish. So recordatorio solamente, esta junta va a ser en inglés. Si ustedes necesitan traducción al español, por favor solamente seleccionen el globito en interpretación y ahí pueden seleccionar el idioma de español. Okay, our other reminder is that this meeting is going to be recorded. If you don't want to be recorded, just turn off your camera and that's it. You're good. Otro recordatorio, esta junta va a ser grabada. Si ustedes no quieren ser grabados, por favor, solamente apaguen su cámara y ya no aparecerán en la grabación. Gracias. Okay. And now, introduction. So this is our parent committee. So Janina is our president. She couldn't be here today. I'm the vice president. My name is Brenda Veronica, and our secretary is Fatima Alcazar. And our meeting objectives. So what we are going to talk today in this meeting, well, we are going to learn what is happening in other school site council meetings, also about community school updates, the district-wide data, uniform complement. Hi, good morning. So the new gate and high achievement parent support group too. So it's going to be an interesting meeting today. And also, just a little chat with all of you. What is happening right now in your school site councils? I'm thinking most of the schools already have at least the first meeting of school site council. So what is happening in your schools? If you want to choose something in the room and talk about what is happening in your schools. And also in the chat, if you want to share, please just put it in the chat.
حبيباتي لو جيت معي. Nice ladies.
Thank you.
Just put anything in the chat.
You have something in the chat? No? Okay, well, we go. Just keep going to the next part. And okay, so community schools. So for talking about community school, I'm going to invite Miss Emily Light.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, everybody online. I'm Emily Lay. I'm the district coordinator for community schools. So I just want to give everybody a little bit of an update of what has occurred thus far. This is just a table of contents. So I'm going to kind of go over our team at all the different school sites, talk a little bit about what is community schools, what it's looking like at the site level and the district level, and then some new partnerships that we have now. So this is the team. We have Kieslyn Michael, who's at Anderson, Dominique Paris, who's at Roosevelt, Jessica Duarte, who's at Green, Vanessa Clark is at Mitchell, Desiree Austria at Smith, Cecilio is at Adams, and Alondra Villafan is at Rogers. So community schools, we really ground ourselves in the 4 pillars. And those 4 pillars, we really look at with our integrated student supports, our expanded and enrichment learning time, our family engagement, and our collaborative practices to really strengthen and align all of our systems in order to support the whole child. And so with that, we follow an implementation process. An implementation process that we are currently working on since the beginning of the year. So as we know, 2 years ago, we received our community schools grant. And so we have goals that we are working towards. But at the beginning of this year, we really grounded ourselves in what is the community schools framework. And then from there, we've been doing asset mapping at all of the sites, as well as gap analysis, which is needs assessments. So many of you have already taken different assessments, whether it's surveys or they've asked you kind of at drop off and pickup. Our community schools reps have been out, our community schools coordinators have been outside. They've been asking students their input. They've been asking staff their input, parents and families their input at coffee with the principals, school site councils, and as many voices as we can to see how we can look at what are the strengths at the schools, what are the gaps at the schools, and how can we then find partnerships, programs, and initiatives to support those needs. All of that's happening is they're also forming advisory councils at every school site. And 2 of our sites, Mitchell and Adams, have already had one of their meetings. In fact, one of the fathers that was at the meeting is here today from Aunt Adams. And so during those advisory council times, those are where it's like shared decision making, where we're looking at all of the data. What is going great in the strengths of the schools? What are those needs at the school? And then making a plan of what do we need to do to target those needs.
That was a good meeting, very informative.
Yes. And then you also were asked, what other input? And then we're going to continue having those meetings.
What we do for the school to better the situation for the kids,
Absolutely.
resources and things. It was good.
Thank you. And so then from there, during those meetings, they'll be looking at creating short and long-term goals, as well as making sure everything's aligned to the budget that they have for each school site. And then from there, it's their implementation plan where we really look at what programs can we bring in, initiatives or partnerships, which I'll talk about in a couple other slides of new ones that we already brought in. And then at the end of the year in June 31st is when our annual reports are due. So we then, through those site councils, those advisory councils, we look at the data. How did it go this year to then report back how we used the money and how did it go for our students and families. So community school sites. So as I was saying, all the coordinators right now are engaging in that asset mapping, needs assessments, and forming the advisory councils. So all of those councils will probably be formed by December before January, so we can have a lot of those meetings to determine our needs. Next slide. One of the things that was a need from when we did our implementation plans 2 years ago and applied for the grant was more family engagement, bringing in more opportunities to bring our families in. So we kicked off the school year with our first one of the Million Male Figures March, where we at all the school sites invited all of our male figures, dads, uncles, cousins, mentors, coaches to come and invite them in the morning to cheer on our students and be there to support them, really letting them know that male role models are an asset in our child's lives. So it went really well. We actually had over 40 male figures at every school site that came, some more, and some even talked in the NPR. They had some morning stacks and some shared their stories. So it was a really great event that we will continue to do. The next one is that we had a lot of families were asking for parenting. What are some great strategies that I can use with my child at home as they're younger and then also going into the middle school years, because there isn't a manual for parenting. We figure it out each and every day. So bringing all the families together, as many as we can, is really helpful in order to have those conversations. And some of you in here have been at those active parenting. I saw you at the Adams one last week. So it's a time that you can really get together and have those conversations. And we've had a few testimonials where they're like, I look forward to that every week. I can't wait to be there. I know, Ms. Herrera, you've been running some over at Rogers. And we've had anywhere from 6 to 9 families in one session, which has been great. Small group, but they've been able to really have great conversations. And then some of them have already finished their 6 classes. And so they have certificates down there by Mitchell, but they will be running those continuously throughout the school year in order to support families. At the district level, we engage actually all the coordinators and myself. We attend monthly meetings where we get to network and talk to other schools and districts in the area on what they're doing, and really talk to them about what partnerships do they have and really share our resources in order to support our families. We collaboratively design and coordinate community center events like the one that's coming up on Saturday. We've really partnered with PTA as well as all of the Lawndale district in order to put this on. It is happening, rain or shine. And we have contingency plans. So we want everybody there to have this wonderful gathering for our families, where we'll be giving out food, clothing, books, flu shots, and a bunch of resources for our families, plus activities. We also are developing, strengthening, and sustaining our partnerships with families. We have a monthly newsletter that's been going out at the beginning of each month with resources. And also we have weekly team meetings to really make sure that we're collaborating and supporting our district as a whole, as well as each school site. And partnerships. So we have been able to secure a lot of these partnerships this year. Big Sunday is one that's donated over, I think, 2,000 books to our school districts, and from elementary all the way to middle school. And a lot of those you'll see at the event on Saturday. PTA has partnered with us in multiple ways. They partnered on Saturday's event with food for our pantry. We have Vallarta that has given gift cards in order to support our families. Trajectory of Hope. ADAP is a new one that we just brought on this year, and that is resources for our students and families for drug, alcohol, vaping, tobacco use. And they were actually at a lot of the school sites during Red Ribbon time to talk to our students about saying no. But they'll also be doing some parent family events as well in the evening. We also have Souls for Souls. That is another new partnership that we have this year. In fact, they are going to be donating 150 pairs of shoes to our school district, and for any students that might need those. So those are going to be coming in the next few months. We also have just gotten our partnership with the Department of Mental Health in order to address the need of parent workshops. And they have multiple topics, anywhere from immigration to parenting, to grief, to how to support my child at home with homework even. So there's multiple topics that we'll be providing for all of you. So that's just a little bit of some of the extra ones that we've added on this year to support. Mm-hmm.
I have a question because I've been reading all about the meetings, the workshop and everything. And I've been before very involved with the school and everything, but now I feel like kind of loose because most of those workshops are in the morning. So how they choose the time for it, because a lot of parents that we work.
Great question.
Yeah, it's like evening time is the perfect time, but most of those things are in the
In the
morning.
mornings. That's good feedback. And many sites have been sending out those surveys to try to find out what is good times and then do it during that time. But I will make sure I go back and talk to the coordinators of making sure we do offer a lot at night. The other thing that people have been asking is, can they be online? Because sometimes I can't come to the school, but I can watch it, from home. So we're going to start doing a lot more hybrid. I know a couple sites are getting the owls. So that way it can make it a little bit easier to do those hybrid meetings, but I'll make sure I bring that back too. Thank you. Next slide. Oh, that's it for me. Sorry. Go back to the other slide. Any other questions? And I'll make sure I come back periodically and give you updates on how everything's going, just as all the school sites. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Kane.
Yeah, everyone. The beauty of having a team is you can run in 5 minutes late to a meeting and they've already got it going and they didn't miss you. Thank goodness. Thank you, everyone. And sometimes there's just a day where you need a minute. So thank you for joining us this morning. Not only did you ask for information about community schools, but we also talked about data, right? And are you controlling the slides? Okay. Just me. I was like, I was going to go to it over there. So what I pulled for us today is to look at district-wide how our children did last May on the English language proficiency test, the math proficiency, and the science proficiency test. This was presented to the board back in September, but we never brought it to this group, so I wanted to make sure you saw it. So as you can see, there were slight increases in all areas. both in language arts, math, and science, and we continue on our upward trajectory. If we go to the next slide, again, English language arts, math, and science. What we're really looking for now is where we were pre-pandemic and where we are now. As we all know, we went through a lot for a number of years and it's taken a while to come back. So you see language arts is back to pre-pandemic levels. Math is back to pre-pandemic levels. Science, we didn't start assessing until after the pandemic, and that's showing strong growth over time. So we're really pleased to see that. If we look a little deeper, we can look at the data by site. How does each school site, what's the proficiency? This one is for language arts. We have all the elementaries here, the middle school's there. If we go to the next slide, we can look at change over time, right? So this was the 2024, this was the 2025 for elementary. All either stayed the same or went up, which is good news. And I think if you click, we'll have some animation for middle school. Okay, so green, we're highlighting here. This was an 8 percentage point growth at, I think there's more animation. Here we go. And at Mitchell, 6 percentage points growth in language arts, really strong growth in a 1-year period. We keep going. Now we look at highlighting percentage point growth by school and by grade level. Okay, so here's 3rd grade had a 7 percentage point growth overall. Really strong signal that we're moving in the right direction. 4th grade, 6, 5th grade, 14 percentage points. So we're starting to get the wheels moving again, right? In math, no wait, this is Mitchell. Oh, sorry, this was at Green. This was at Mitchell. Mitchell had a 12 percentage point growth at 3rd grade and 10 percentage point growth at 5th. So we really want to highlight there's some good stuff happening across our schools. Okay, if we keep going. Other highlights, Roosevelt had a 7 percentage point growth in the 3rd grade. Smith, 6 percentage points in the 5th. Anderson, 4th grade, 17 percentage points. Rogers, 6th grade, 8 percentage points. Adams, 6th grade, 7 percentage points. So we're seeing these pockets of growth across the district, which is really good news to see. So now we can switch to math. So again, we're looking at by site, the percent proficient this past school year, this past May, elementary and middle. Now we look at growth. Again, 24% proficient at Rogers in 2024, 31% proficient in 2025. We're seeing some strong trends of growth at all of these sites. And I think it hits a little animation. We'll see, we're highlighting Rogers and Green, 7 percentage points and 5 percentage points of growth in math. And highlighting further Rogers and Green. So Rogers, 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade, 11 percentage points, 4 and 9 percentage points. And at Green, 3rd grade, a 17 percentage point growth. That's huge. And in 4th grade, a 6 percentage point growth. So again, we're seeing the wheels start moving in the right direction. Other highlights, Adams, 7th grade, Smith, 4th grade, Twain, 5th grade, Mitchell, 3rd grade. We're seeing it across the district. Now, this is the latest data. I shared this first at our APAC meeting at the end of October. This is where we look at it by student group. Okay, because we also disaggregate to see are all of our students achieving and are we closing achievement gaps, right? So these are the groups that our students are grouped by: American Indian or Alaska Native, Asian, Black or African American, Hispanic or Latino, Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander, 2 or more races, white. And you can see there's the number of students tested and the percentage of the overall group of students. So there were 3 American Indian or Alaska Native students tested that doesn't quite make it to 1% of our population of students. But then if you look at Hispanic or Latino, that makes up 77% of our population. That just gives you an idea of the size of the groups of students that we have. And then within proficiency, so if there are 141 Asian students, 109 of them scored proficient. That's 77% of the Asian student population. Does that make sense? Okay, so remember, this is 3rd through 8th grade students because they're the only students who take the SBAC. We're not talking about TK, kinder, first, second, just the older kids. Okay, so that was language arts. If you go to the next one, you can see math. Again, divided up by our different groups of students. And this, oh, well, that just jumped real quick to science. So let's give everybody a minute, at least to look at math scores. And then we take a look at the next slide. It is our science scores. And science is tricky because that's only our 5th and 8th grade students. So that's a very small group of students, but that's when they get the science testing. So you'll see the numbers kind of shrink. You're like, why are there so few? It's because it's only certain grade levels. Okay. So I think the next slide is a pausing point. Yes. So I want you to take a minute and talk to someone or put it in the chat. Have you seen your own CASP data for your school? And have you seen it by grade level and by student group? And what did you learn? Because this is all in your school plan. And this is the data that your school site council looked at either in October or you're looking at this month, right? To see how your kids are doing and what is your plan for closing achievement gaps. Because when I talk with principals and school site councils, I say, here's how everybody's doing, like your overall rate. And if you have any group of students that's performing lower, the rate of growth for this group has to be much steeper than the rate of growth for this group, right? To close an achievement gap, you actually have to accelerate for your lower achieving students. So what are we doing to make sure that those groups that are lower performing are catching up and we're closing that achievement gap, right? So what kinds of conversations have you had? Or have you had? Or will you plan to have now that you've met with me? Take a minute. There's 2 of you at a table, 2 of you at a table, a few there. Take just a minute. What are you thinking? And on chat, if you want to drop in your thoughts or unmute yourself and let us know, happy to listen.
We did miss you.
Well, it's just, of course, they're awesome. You have this conversation first.
It's talking about it. Kind of like the data you just showed. Right? It did happen for Adams. It does happen for the middle schools.
Yeah.
And when it says 2, isn't this 2 more from middle school? You know, sometimes they have other.
Right, right.
It's just those schools.
That's a good question.
Okay. Up to your history of people. They continue with the rate.
We want everybody.
I think
How do we get?
how you said that, how to get to all those levels to be the same. That'd be nice,
Yeah.
you know?
That's our job.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Okay, I'm gonna pull us back together. I understand we have a couple comments in the chat. Someone want to read those out, or those of you who put something in the chat, did you want to unmute and share it yourself? I saw Joshua on there, so I'm going to call you out.
Sorry, I'm battling 3 screens right now. Yeah, it's just something that we've always had to work with, trying to balance like the positive, feeling of seeing like we're seeing some growth in some areas and that we're moving in the right direction. But when we look at the overall data, we still have, half of our students in some cases not meeting proficiency. So it's still so much work that needs to be done.
Yes, we're not done. We're not celebrating that, whew, we can put our hands down. We do want to recognize when we see movement in the right direction. But yes, everybody needs to be moving. And like I said, those who are lower performing have a more accelerated need to move so that we can all get to, the goal would be, well, in an ideal world, 100% proficient, right? But we'd be really competitive with, districts around us that we want to beat, right? With 80% of our students proficient, but that's a big leap for a lot of our students. So how do we get there? And how do we demonstrate what they know? Was there another comment, Jessica, in there?
Yes, Yuli Ruiz said that she saw it this morning, and as parents, we need to put more time at home to help our kids.
Okay, parents putting in more time at home to help our kids. I'll agree, it's a partnership, right? And knowing how to help your child, or at least what's happening in school. Like I know what I do with mine, like I get the weekly report and I'm like, you're missing 3 assignments in statistics. What's happening, right? Because it's just that being aware. Now, I can't help her necessarily with her statistics homework, but I can monitor, right? And granted, she's a high school student, so it's on her. But if my child was 6, right? I can't say, well, figure it out. Me as mom, I have to support, right? But if I don't know how to support, how do I find out? Right? Brenda, you want to share? Brenda's the know-all of all things parent involvement.
We are talking also about the Latino, that Latinos is the most growth population, but also one of the or less growing. We are in the 30s in comparison with the Asian or the white kids. So as a Latino community, how could we support our kids? We were talking that sometimes also the moms doesn't know the language. How they could help the kids if they don't know the language that is the homework and things like that. So maybe more support for the kids with the homeworks. And maybe with this, we can help a little bit those families that also are struggling, not just with the kids not performing well in school, but also they couldn't help the kids to perform well in school.
So it's both, right? Making sure that the children know homework should be review of something they've already learned. So it shouldn't take a whole lot of work on mom or dad's part, right? But that doesn't always happen. And on mom and dad's side, may not have the knowledge or the time or the language to support. So we can provide tools for parents. We also work with our teachers to make sure that, homework is a review process, right? And we have to work it together, right? It's a team effort. And we also want to make really clear that you can support your children in your home language by reading with them, developing their oral language. That is huge because having that basis in your home language is an easy transfer to English. But if you don't have it in your home language because mom's trying to do it all in English with you because she thinks that's the way to support you better, it's going to make it choppy, right? But if you're fully involved in your home language, it really does support the English development. So there's lots of things we can do in that as well. But I also want to bring up that achievement is influenced by many things. Attendance is huge, right? If you're not in school, you can't learn what the teacher is teaching, be it for illness and or are we making all of our children feel welcome? Does the school culture, do you get a phone call? Oh my gosh, your child's not here today. Where is he? We miss him. That makes you think, oh gosh, they want me to come to school. Whereas, my kid was out for a week and nobody called. That doesn't feel good, right? So how do we, as a school community, make sure that our families feel welcome and that we want you here? We actually want you here. We want your kids here. So these are things that we need to work on, but these are things you can, at the school level, look at your school site council meeting. What does our attendance look like for our Latino population of students? Are they coming to school? That's always like my first question. Like, are they there? Are the teachers there? Are the, what is happening? I see a hand up here.
Chat that wants to say something.
Oh, sure. There's a comment in the chat. Would you like to unmute and share, or can someone just read it out loud? Okay, Maria, do you want to
I'm so sorry. Is
Hi.
it for Yuli Reese?
Hi, welcome, Yuli.
Thank you. I have a very strong and straightforward comment about all this and the percentage on everything. I believe as a parent, I am a Hispanic. I learned English as my second language. I had both working parents, and now I do have the ability to be a stay-at-home mom, but I live both throughout, my education. And now that I have a small kid, I have three, they're all in school, and I do believe that 50% is on the child, but 50% is on the parent on putting effort into the kid, whether we send a child to school and have them learn, but we cannot expect the teachers to do everything for our children. We also have to have some time and make time
Mhm.
for our kids. And that will make a big difference. Regarding language barriers, there are programs after school. They do help kids with homework after school. So it's whether you want to reach out to your teacher and say, hey, how can I help my child? There is a language barrier, but I do want to make sure that things are getting done. So I believe that as Hispanics, we kind of step forward with a excuse note of, hey, this is a problem for me, when it shouldn't be, because we sugarcoat all that with excuses. And it shouldn't. And it shouldn't. And it's sad because this generation of kids has a lot more differences than when, for example, when I was growing up, when we were all growing up and in school. So it is really based on the kid, the teacher, and the parent. But everything starts from home, whether we want to make our kids successful and put the attention they need and they require and put our effort into it.
Thank you, Yuli. You're actually the perfect commercial for the home school compact. Have any of you seen that this year? It's the compact you get every year where the teacher signs it and says, this is what I promised to do. And the child signs it and says, this is what I promised to do. And the parent signs it and says, this is what I promised to do. That's exactly what it's asking for. It's all three of us, right? All three, what do you call it? The triangle, the triangle, or the tripod has the three legs. If one's not there, it falls over, right? It needs to be the three-way conversation. So thank you, Yuli, for sharing that.
Yeah.
Was there anybody else who had a comment, either in person or, okay, here we go.
So, like we was talking with her, I agree and disagree because I have met parents that they don't even know Spanish really well. Like they're coming from these cultures inside the country. They speak
cultures.
yes, and the other day I was helping a mom. She don't even know how to use the phone, and that's kind of sad because how they can help the students at that way because she didn't even know how to open an email account. And I was like trying to teach her. I was telling her many times, you do this, you create this, but it's just hard for them to learn. I think a little bit more support from our community is it should be amazing for that kind of parents because sometimes they're shy to ask for help. That's what I know that they have a struggle and everything around the system because they're new, they just moved to here from their countries and it is hard, especially if they're older than 20s because I'm from Honduras and I moved in here when I was 19 years old. I moved with my son and I was new in the whole system, but I wasn't shy because, I was young. I was like, oh, can you help me with this? I went to school, I was learning. I had the time for it, but some people doesn't have the time to go to the adult school to learn English or things like that. Just, I think we have a lot of those kind of parents in the community.
Well, and you are a great example of what a committed, engaged parent volunteer can do, right? Hey, come here, I'll help you, right? We have our volunteers at sites. We know that, and we have our community liaisons at sites, and now we have our community schools site coordinators, and we have social workers, and still, we don't have enough sometimes to meet everybody's needs. So we rely on people like you, right? Who say, I'll show you, come here, I'll show you how to use the phone. So it really comes to helping those who are too new or too shy to ask for help. But we really do need to build that muscle. If you don't know, ask. Ask for help and we will direct you in 25 different ways. But you do have to ask because we don't always know what's happening, right? So thank you for what you did and keep doing it. And I invite everybody else to do the same. And I agree, it is, but what the mom can do, right, is develop language with her child in the home language, develop literacy in the home language if literacy is there in that language, and really work together, right? I think of it as we're going to school together, kids, right? Like Brenda has students who are learning Spanish right now, adults, parents who are dropping off their child at school and then going to Spanish class. And then we have other parents going to English class, dropping off their child at school and going to English class. So we try to provide multiple opportunities. But I realize sometimes, Emily asked me the other day, I wish we had a Spanish class for adults. And I was like, oh my gosh, Emily, we do. How did I miss you? Right? And I'm not calling you out. What I'm saying is that tells me I still haven't gotten the word out well enough. If my roommate, my office mate doesn't know we have this class, right? So how do we get the word out, right? How do we get it out better? Clearly, we missed some folks. So that's on us, and we'll keep working on it. And as parents, if we all do our part, I guess it goes back to that triangle. If we all do our part, we'll be successful.
Julie, can I give a little advertisement for our after-school tutoring program?
Yes.
So we do have an amazing partnership with an organization called Hey Tutor. They started with us mid-year last year with our RAP program with a handful of students, and those students all showed great growth in just a little bit of time they were with us. I'm happy to say that we've expanded that partnership. We now have two tutors at each school site, and we're getting ready to bring on a third for our first and second graders to be able to receive tutoring after school. And so I want to leave a couple of things. One, there's no capacity. So we can continue to accept students, and then we will hire the tutors. So Hey Tutors and our after school, our ELOP program, the RAP program, are just eager to partner with bringing on more tutors. So bring us the students, we will put the tutors in place. We can't have a tutor sit with those students. We want them to have 3 to 5 students each. We can bring the tutors at all of our school sites if you bring us the kids. The second thing I want to leave you guys with is that your child doesn't have to be in RAP Monday through Friday to participate in tutoring. They can come just for tutoring. So right now, a majority of our students receiving that tutoring already are in RAP. So our RAP parents who have those kids in RAP Monday through Friday, they have launched in there. They saw right away, and they're experiencing the tutoring. And I want to make sure that our parents who don't necessarily need or necessarily want to have their child in RAP Monday through Friday to 5:45 every day. I know that's a lot, but the opportunity for tutoring 2 days a week for 45 minutes, and you're able to pick them up at that time slot to pick them home. It's available. And I would like to extend that to our families who aren't already utilizing RAP as it is, although there's so much to utilize in RAP. But if tutoring is what you're looking for, please do take advantage of that. This year, not only did we expand it, all of our tutors are bilingual in Spanish. So if your child has a Spanish-speaking family at home and needs the support in both languages, where parents can't support because the content may be too difficult, those tutors after school, hear me now, are bilingual in English and Spanish. Let's take advantage of this. Here in Lawndale, you guys, we are putting a lot of money towards bringing these tutors here for our students so that we can bring up that achievement, that opportunity gap, that achievement gap that Julie was just talking about. So let's take advantage this year while we have it so we can continue to forge this partnership with Hey Tutor and continue to provide tutoring for our students after school. That's my advertisement. In other words.
Perfectly timed because it didn't even come to my mind, but speaking of all the resources that we have, that's there. And I'll bet you somebody doesn't know about it, right? So as much as we advertise, we push it all through Parent Square, but to your point, mom who's still working on email and phone, she's not going to see it, right? Unless we do a paper copy or someone says, hey, did you know about this? Let me introduce you to the RAP coordinator. Come with me.
Absolutely. And just so you know, just to piggyback on that, ask your office, go to your office, call the office, ask your community schools coordinator if you know who that person is. If you don't, please know who that person is. Learn them quickly. Your community liaison, your community school coordinator, and your front office, your principal, your assistant principal, they all know about Hey Tutor. Ask the first person you see. They can give you the QR code or the link so that you can enroll. Your child does have to enroll in RAP because that's our safety. That's how we know your kiddo is there. So we do need to officially enroll your child in RAP. We know kiddo is there. We can keep them safe. And that from there, we get your child into the appropriate tutoring program.
So speaking of which, let's introduce 3 of our community liaisons that are here today in case you haven't met them. Introduce yourselves, please.
Hey everyone, I'm Daniela. I'm community liaison at Smith.
Good morning, I'm Maria and I'm at Rogers.
My name is Karen Bermudez and I'm the community liaison for preschool.
Okay, so there's 3 here, right here in person that you could talk to. And when you go back to your school site, just go to the office and say, I need to talk to, and if you don't know their name, just direct me to the community liaison or the community school site coordinator, and they'll take care of you. Okay, thank you for that. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm trying to control the screen again. I've lost all control.
I've lost all.
Would you mind? Thank you. Oh, I'm hitting my own screen. That doesn't matter. So one thing I wanted to share with you, can we just go back one to there we go. One of the other things I shared with you last time is that all that data I showed you is just for 3 tests that happen once a year. And it's a snapshot of what kids can do. These are all the other assessments that happen throughout the year. Now I showed you one table. And as parents do, one of our parents said, I tried to make it a different way that was a little easier to understand. So thank you, Lydia Castro from Twain, who came up with this version because it helps you distinguish by grade level, right? Mine was not that clear. So if you're, for instance, a kinder parent, you can see you're part of all these assessments, but none of these apply to you because that's for 3rd through 8th, right? So we are working on putting this calendar on the website so you have it, because you don't want to wait till May of your child's 3rd grade year to ask your first question, how's my child doing, right? There are multiple assessment opportunities throughout every school year, trimester 1, trimester 2, and trimester 3. We have iReady, language arts and math in the 1st trimester, iReady in the 2nd trimester, iReady in the 3rd trimester. So you have 3 opportunities to find out how your child is progressing in language arts and math. We also have, in this one, benchmark unit. That's our language arts unit for elementary school. Benchmark unit happens twice a year that you can look at how your child's doing in that. We also have added in here, they're not listed specifically, but we have math assessments as well that happen in each trimester. So there's lots of data you could be following up on with your child, with your teacher, right? To see how your child's doing. In March, we do the GATE universal screening for our 3rd graders. So multiple times that things are happening. So we want to make sure that you're aware of them. And throughout the year, your site should be bringing this data, school-wide data, to your school site council meeting, particularly to say, you know what, we set a goal for iReady Language Arts. This is how we scored at the 1st assessment. Now, in trimester 2, when we do the 2nd one, we're looking for growth already. to see if that's having an impact. And by trimester 3, we want to see even more growth. So if you're seeing the growth you want to see, most likely your school site council is going to say, let's keep doing what we're doing. If you're not seeing growth or it's going backwards, you have some questions to ask, right? Or if it's not going forward for all kids, only some kids, what's happening? What are we doing? What's our plan? That's where you talk about these things. So we continue to refine, but we'll keep putting these out here until we get it perfect, and we'll have it up on the website so you can keep track. But just know, lots of assessments happen throughout the year that you can track. Okay, one other thing I just want to bring to your attention, because I'm required to share this with you every year, is to remind you of your rights, right? There are rights that your children have, that you have as parents, that are part of Ed Code and or federal law. And the uniform complaint procedure is a mechanism that you can use if you feel like your rights or your child's rights have been violated or not provided for. I always use as an example, my child is an English learner. My school doesn't offer English language development classes. That would be a valid uniform complaint because we are required by law to provide those classes, right? So if you were at a school site and you saw this or something of that level, right? It's not, I don't like this teacher or I don't like this custodian. That's not what that's for. This is for actual violations of rights for students and for families. So I just wanted to show you, it's here on our website. It's under the Human Resources tab, which might seem confusing, but they do manage this part of our work. And it lays out for you all the different areas that this could happen. And this screenshot is not complete. It goes through many different ones. But if you have an issue and you see things aren't happening, my recommendation is go to your school principal first and say, I think this is supposed to be happening. I'm not seeing it. Can you clarify for me? Or can you show me? Don't run to file a complaint without asking first, right? Because sometimes, as we've seen, Spanish classes or tutoring offerings or things, there's so much going on, we miss it in all the noise. So ask first, be inquisitive, ask for it in your school site council, make an appointment with the principal. And if what you're asking for isn't resolved, then you go to the uniform complaint procedure. But I just want to make sure you know it's there, you have access to it. And you all know that on the website, you can change the language too, so you can read it in multiple languages. I didn't capture that in my screenshot, but there is a way to do that so that it is accessible to all languages. Do we have any questions about uniform complaint procedures? No, we're in chat world. Okay, let's continue on. Okay, so here's our latest parent support group. We keep adding. I'm going to point out Brenda again, who championed families with special needs, requesting a support group. Now we have had the request for parents of gifted and high achieving students to have their own support group to talk about the needs and concerns they might have for their children. Sunny Tamrakar brought this at our last meeting as a request. So he and I and Anne-Marie Francois, sorry, that's a different Anne-Marie I knew in a previous life, Anne-Marie Moad helped us develop our first meeting. So our first meeting for the gifted and high achieving parents will be on December 11th. It will be a 9 o'clock meeting like we do all of our meetings. The one thing though, this one will be in person, much like we're modeling it after the special needs family support group. It's different than coming here and learning about policies and procedures and what to bring back to the school site. This is more of a support group. So it's not one that they want to have broadcast on Zoom, right? It's meant to be in person. So if you can join us, that would be wonderful. In our first meeting, we'll be asking for topics for future meetings, polling to make sure that we have the right time of day. If we have parents that aren't coming, and we'll work to bring either in speakers, resources, and or just a time to get to know each other. I often think of it as a chance to meet another parent who has a child similar to yours. You might find a play group, a play date, groups of similar kids that have similar needs. It's really helpful for parents too, right? So that is our latest parent support group. So as you see, I keep expanding the portfolio of parent groups that we have. But I think this one, we had a very high attendance at the coffee for gifted and newly identified gifted students a few weeks ago. And so we'll test this out and see if this is a good time. If the mornings aren't a good time, then we'll find another time, but that is coming up. Any questions or wonderings about that?
Is that going to be here, Julie?
Yes, you're in the district office, 9 o'clock. I can't remember what day of the week it is. I don't think it's a Wednesday. It's a Thursday? It's a Thursday. Yes.
It's just for the parents that the kids are already from gate, or it's also for the parents that the kids on undergrade, like second, first, but they are achievement.
Thank you for asking that. But the reason why we titled it Gate and High Achieving is to make it open to all, because yes, they're not identified till the end of third grade, but you may have a first grader who's working well above grade level, and Sonny's a great ambassador for that. And I don't think I saw him on the meeting, but as he was talking about and sharing, when you meet with the teacher, right? Sometimes you're meeting, well, we're all meeting to say, this is my child. I birthed him, I raised him, I know him better than anybody else, right? So here's what I want you to know about my child. And much like, I think, Brenda, we're going to bring that seed packet exercise to that one, because there was this beautiful exercise that they did with the special needs support group where, and I'm going to do a terrible job of this, so Brenda, help me if I miss something. But the woman showed, when you buy a packet of seeds to plant a flower, it tells you exactly how it thrives. It needs this much sunlight, it needs this much water, it should be in these temperatures, and it will grow into this beautiful flower, right? The flower is absolutely perfect as it is. This is how you can do it. And we talked about how when we as parents come to our teacher, we're giving them our own seed packet, right? This is my child. This is how my child flourishes. He needs this much, not sunlight, water, and temperature, but, he flourishes with, he's a visual learner, let's say, or he's, really, he loves to talk. He's going to be challenging for you. So here's some things that I suggest to help him, feel like he's being heard without dominating your whole conversation, right? And, whatever that might be, and come together as a plan, like this is what I'm doing at home. How might we support our child there? Same thing, whether they're struggling or they're not, or they may be gifted in one area and really struggling in another. So how do we, as the advocate, I feel like as parents, we're advocates for our kids. Teacher has 30 of them. And so in order to get heard through the noise, parents, we have to come and advocate for our child, right? Not teacher, you need to do, but how can we work together to support my child, right? So we're going to start there. But yes, that's a long answer to your question, Brenda. But yes, open to all, whether identified or not. How do we support these kids?
More the merrier.
Exactly. Anything on chat? We're good? Okay, I'm gonna move us forward one. Okay, so I put this back on here, and I admit I did not get a chance to follow up with Liliana and with Giannina, but Giannina has been working on a new way, an electronic way, to get credit for the meetings you attend, the volunteer work you do, the events you attend. Have we made any progress on that, Liliana? No. Okay. So I leave it here as a placeholder that we haven't forgotten about it. We're going to keep working on it, mainly because it's really great. Well, for two reasons. One, we like to celebrate our parents. And this is a nice way to say, look, so-and-so did all this volunteer work at our school. We want to thank you, give you a certificate, recognize you in front of the school. It also comes in really handy, unfortunately, in the times that we're in. Some folks may need to demonstrate proof of volunteer efforts with immigration, with different entities. So we want to make sure that we're we're validating that work at our site. So we continue to work on that so that you have it. And we'll bring more information, hopefully at our next meeting. I'll get Giannina and Liliana together and we'll work on that. Okay, let's take a minute to process with somebody at your table near you. What's something new that you learned today? And what are you going to do with it? What are you going to take back to your site as a result of today? 1 minute. Ready, set, go. Feel free to chat with a neighbor at a table or type something in the chat, and we'll come back together in 1 minute.
That's what I was. I couldn't read something we read at school, so. What about you?
Was that yeah, I thought it was at the school, so I went to the school.
Okay, we in every meeting now, so like, you'll see more of me. That's all.
She came at the right time. At least get it.
So I plug that tutoring program. I was like, oh, right now, I asked for tutor, I'm getting a kid, so I'm like, I just need
Statistics
to
on.
have majority or parents who already manage the route programs.
Can, information to get us to keep them.
Yeah, that impression that it's just around for us.
Yeah, FDR.
But message, yes, over and over and over again, because I want to keep this going.
Okay, what are you going to do after this meeting? Would anyone like to share something you learned? Something you're going to take back?
I was like,
you. Yeah. Tell everyone you know that tutoring is available in English and in Spanish for our kids.
Wonderful, also for the dual immersion kids.
yes, there is a dual immersion program actually at Mitchell. There is one tutor that's working for dual immersion at Mitchell right now. Yeah.
Great.
There's a meeting on December 11th.
Yes.
You can tell parents about that.
Yes, please share. For gifted and high achieving parents of gifted and high achieving kids, please come and learn how we can support each other.
And you're trying to get all the students to fill that gap of growth. Very important.
Which means we're going to look at data, right? You're going to go back and say, I'd like to see the data. How are our kids doing? What could we do?
We want to look at these numbers that we discussed today. It's on.
I share it with all the community liaisons and the community schools coordinators and your alerts and the principals. So they have it at the site. You can ask them to see it. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. But like as far as a website, is it on the district's website?
Not yet, but we are the California School Dashboard is I think today they're starting the embargo, and so before Thanksgiving that will open with the latest data. So thank you for that perfect segue into next time's meeting. We'll bring the dashboard data so you can see it. And on the California School Dashboard, you can look up any school in California and any district in California, and you can compare and you can see. So that's coming. Yeah.
Okay. Great, thank you.
Okay. Any?
Karen has her hand raised. Julie?
Hi, sorry. So, I just wanted to, again, very straightforward, and I'm sorry for this, but, for the one parent that said that she was helping, the lady that didn't even know English and was helping her with, the computer, let her know that there's tutor for her child, that there's there's an after-school program. You can make the change on that one child. Let's also let everybody know. Let's chit chat before and after school while we pick up and drop off our kids. Hey, December 11th, don't miss it. Doesn't matter where your child is at. Let's just not speak here at the meeting, but let's make our voices heard at schools too, whether we're just a parent, whether we're anything in any rank. So let's make that difference, because we can't just sit here and hear everything, see everything, but not do anything about it.
Thank you. Couldn't have said it better, right? She just gave us our marching orders for when we leave this meeting. Thank you. Can we go one more? Okay, so speaking of which, just a reminder, The volunteer process, it is ongoing. You can talk to your community liaison about it. There's a QR code. You can just snap it and fill out the form. Fill out the application, you submit your TB test. And if, for example, you really want to supervise or chaperone a student field trip, you also have to get fingerprinted. So you want to start that process now, not the week before the field trip, because you will not be able to chaperone. So please remember that. Another volunteer opportunity, our libraries are always looking for help. If you like shelving books, if you like seeing all the latest and the greatest books we have for our kids, this is a fun one to do. Oh, this was my original testing calendar. As you can see, Lydia's is better. That's what I love. I give an idea and then someone makes it better. So we're already in phase or version 2 of our assessment calendar. And go forward one more. Okay, so upcoming board meetings. This is also a really great place to get information and learn about what's happening. November 20th is the next one. Nutrition and Wellness will be presenting, and also the school spotlight will be on Adams. So if you want to hear about all the great things happening at Adams, all their programs, I see an Adams parent right there. You're going to want to check this one out, either in person or you can watch it on YouTube. And if you need interpretation, you can request that ahead of time and watch it on Zoom. Then in December 18th, there's no school spotlighted, but the Jams band will be playing. That's always a fun one. And then on January 22nd, after break, we'll be sharing our social studies textbook adoption for elementary schools, and state preschool will be highlighted. So Karen will be there with her team rallying and showing us all the great things happening at preschool. So check these out. And then other meetings coming up. Special Needs Family Support Group. Next meeting is next week, November 18th. Community of Multilingual Families will meet December 10th. I didn't put it in there because I had a separate slide, but then if in chronological order, December 11th will be our Gifted and High Achieving Parents meeting. Then December 16th, our African American Parent Advisory Council. And then DPAC, this group returns January 14th after the holidays. So there are lots of opportunities to come and get information and bring it back to your schools. So thank you for coming. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being willing to get out there, as we all just promised to do, as we were told we're going to go talk about this at school, right? We're going to share it with all our other families. So thank you, and I hope to see you at our community grateful gathering on Saturday.
Rain or
Rain or
shine.
shine.
Rain or shine.
Rain or shine. We'll be there. Okay, thank you, everyone.
You can have a happy holiday if I don't see you.
Thank you. You too.
Information.
My pleasure. My pleasure. And thank you to the team for putting it all together.
Have a nice